An engagement costs $66,000, the wedding $88,000, an $880,000 car, and a $700,000 house, all of which have to be in your name alone. I just want to ask, miss, what kind of qualities do you have that make you worthy of such a family? Last week, I brought my family of 3 to look at the house. I liked the house of this man, and I brought his girlfriend and mother-in-law to look again. We were ready to book a room. The girl was really good-looking, tall, and in good shape. The girl was also quite satisfied with the house after seeing it. But when we were about to book the room, the girl stopped us and said that we had to write her name, which made me and the man look confused. Because we had already discussed it before. The down payment for the house would be paid by him, and since the man's parents are paying for the house, of course the house should be in his name. But somehow, overnight, everything changed. So I quickly tried to smooth things over and said, if you want the house in your name, then the loan should be taken out under your name. Right now, you don't have a job, so your bank statements definitely won't work. Otherwise, you two could get a marriage certificate and put both your names on the house, then there wouldn't be any problem with the loan. But as soon as the woman heard this, she wasn't happy again. She said she wanted the house to be in her name only, and she would be the one to pay back the loan. A lot of people just fake their bank statements anyway, right? But that's all just falsifying things. I really couldn't think of any other solution, so I told the man, why don't you call your parents and discuss it with them? Before I could even finish speaking, his mother-in-law immediately started complaining again, saying she didn't agree. She said, it's such a small matter. Is it really necessary to call your parents to discuss it? Can't you just decide for yourself? I quickly said to his mother-in-law, Mom, after all, it's his parents who are paying the down payment for the house. Out of respect, shouldn't he at least discuss it with his own parents? Then the man, looking very embarrassed, went out to make the call. I quickly sent him a message saying, for this matter, you absolutely have to go home and discuss it with your parents in person. From my experience, there's no way your parents would agree to this. Just say there's something urgent today and you'll decide on the house tomorrow. Even if you don't buy this particular house, this is definitely not the way to handle things. You're not even married yet, and over 1 million won would just become someone else's. I'm making this video to tell everyone, if you ever encounter a situation like this, aren't you just setting up your own family to be taken advantage of? On the way back, I kept thinking, what's going on with people these days? They're not even married yet, and they're already thinking about how to split up property and assets in case of a divorce. Isn't that way too pragmatic? Even if there are more men than women in today's society, this isn't how things should be done. Does true love really have to be measured by money? What do you all think?
The new marriage law has come into effect. Have you all seen it? The old ideas like men work outside, women stay at home, or marry a good man and you'll have food and clothes, or working hard isn't as good as marrying well. With the official implementation of the new marriage law on February 1st, all these viewpoints are now a thing of the past. I noticed that as soon as the new marriage law was announced, a lot of people online started complaining that these new regulations are very unfriendly to women. But actually, the new rules are about protecting the stronger party. Regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, the marriage law is designed to protect individual property. What you buy is yours and what he buys is his. If parents give money to buy a house or car, it only belongs to the child whose parent provided the funds. Even if your name is added, it doesn't mean you'll get a share of the property. Marriage is no longer a tool for people to take advantage of each other. No matter how many children you have or how many career opportunities you give up, the law will not grant you more property or a bigger share of the house because of it. Self-sacrifice and dedication no longer hold any value in the eyes of the law. So actually, as soon as the new regulations came out, I saw that moms who are unmarried or planning to have a second or third child started to hesitate. Let alone how many people would still dare to become a full-time mom without any hesitation. So many women are saying that either they'll just date for the rest of their lives without getting married or having children, or if they do want to get married and have kids, raising their standards for a partner is the only way forward. Since the house and car aren't going to be mine anyway, there's no way I'm going to help you pay off the loan. Since being a housewife has no value at all, there's no way I'm going to sacrifice my career prospects to stay home and take care of the kids. If everyone has to rely on their own efforts to make money, then neither side can afford to sacrifice themselves to support the other. So in the future, there may no longer be a virtuous wife to support my lofty ambitions, nor will I be a virtuous wife for someone else. With so much money involved in this almost AA-style marriage system, I really don't know what the meaning of marriage is anymore. What do you all think?
In the future, there might be even fewer people getting married because, to put it simply, the new marriage law basically means that whoever earns the money keeps it, and whoever owns the house keeps it. Whose parents' money belongs to whom? Some women even ask, if the house and car are transferred to her name before marriage, would that work? But that's not allowed either because the court's decision is based on bank statements. Whoever paid for the car and house, that's who they belong to. Transferring ownership doesn't work. Marriage at its core is just about the man and woman being unusually greedy and lustful, with a little pepper sprinkled on top. Now that the distinctions between before and after marriage are made so clear, some people might not even consider getting married anymore. When the water is too clear, there are no fish. After all, both sides have their own motives. On the surface, it looks like it's for love, but in reality, some people do it for material reasons. Now that the material aspect has been completely blocked off, some people will definitely think it's better not to get married at all. So the marriage rate might go down and the divorce rate might also decrease. Marriage has always been a complex matter. You can ask some people around you who have been through it. Very few get married purely for love. For most, it's a combination of different considerations.
Because of factors like security, financial stability, biological reasons, and social considerations. As for the high-profile case involving the so-called gold digger ceiling and the tragic incident with Tan Mao, the first trial has already been held. At the court, Zhài Xīnxīn admitted her guilt and accepted the punishment. Although the verdict was not announced in court, according to many professional lawyers, it's expected that she will be sentenced to around 10 to 12 years. Driving someone to their death, and yet the sentence is just a little over 10 years, honestly, that's far too lenient. The impact of her actions is still extremely far-reaching, and the nature of the case is truly vile. Speaking of Zhài Xīnxīn, everyone is familiar with her. She appears innocent on the outside, but in reality she's an extremely malicious femme fatale. She managed to acquire tens of millions in assets through just 4 divorces, and has really contributed to the deterioration of social values. It got to the point where men became afraid of getting married. After that, I remember that China's marriage rate kept declining year after year. As for Zhài Xīnxīn's first marriage, I think it lasted about 70 days, and then she divorced citing incompatibility, getting 200,000 yuan and a Volkswagen car out of it. In her second marriage, she married a rich second-generation heir, and after a year, she divorced and received 7.5 million yuan. She also got a BMW car. That was from the second marriage. As for the third one, she dated another wealthy man for half a year, and then what happened? She kept arguing with him. Eventually, the man asked for a divorce, and she ended up getting over 10 million yuan, plus a villa. Rumor has it was a villa in Beijing. Then, in her fourth marriage, it was with Shushang Mao. That marriage lasted only 41 days, and she got over 10 million yuan again, even driving the man to the point of jumping off a building. The speed at which she amasses wealth through divorces is honestly faster than many publicly listed companies. After her, the trend of gold diggers using their status to get ahead became even more rampant. There were all kinds of so-called gold digger training classes and socialite training courses, all thriving and flourishing. A large number of women wanted to use marriage as a way to get rich. Actually, this really makes you think, why is it that someone like Mao, who made so much money and is a small entrepreneur, someone who should have a lot of social experience, could be so thoroughly manipulated in such an obvious way? You can actually see from this that Zhài Xīnxīn's hardware and software were both impeccable, and moreover, everything about her was genuine. If you were Mao, meeting someone like Zhài Xīnxīn through a blind date, you'd most likely be deceived as well. After all, she graduated from a prestigious university, her parents are highly educated and middle class, and she's attractive. Who would ever suspect that a woman like her would get involved in marriage scams, right? This really shows that what gold diggers are best at is putting on a facade, and for those who lack social experience, the damage they can do is extremely severe. Of course, there are good women in society as well. They actually make up the vast majority, and I'm not trying to create any gender opposition here, but there are indeed some especially malicious gold diggers who just want to exploit men for money, like vampires. Absolutely terrifying. The impact that these kinds of gold diggers have on society is extremely negative. It seriously affects the country's marriage rate and birth rate. That's why the country, well, this year has made some new adjustments to the marriage law. For example, on January 15th, the latest marriage law set out new rules regarding property and real estate acquired during marriage. In the event of a divorce, these assets still belong to the person who paid for them. If the parents bought the marital home, then in the case of divorce, it also belongs to the party who actually paid for the house. So in the future, for those women who want to profit from marriage, the country has already blocked this path for them through the law. To be honest, I think this is a really big step forward, because if you want to increase the marriage rate and birth rate, just relying on things like childbirth subsidies or allowances really doesn't help much. It won't give men much motivation to get married. No man wants to marry a woman just to be taken advantage of under the guise of marriage. Only with these kinds of thorough measures. Only with such measures that address the root of the problem and put an end to some older women's ideas of getting rich through marriage can marriage return to what it's truly supposed to be. This is what the marriage law is about. In this situation, it's even more important for men to keep their eyes open and clearly see the woman's character. That's crucial. So, I have a few suggestions. First, you must make sure whether the woman can really spend her whole life with you and whether she can endure hard times with you. In daily life, can she compromise for your interests? Second, you should avoid girls who are overly pretentious, those who are always talking about needing a sense of ceremony or emotional value. My advice is to definitely stay away from them. Third, when it comes to spending a man's money, if she's extravagant and spends freely on food, drinks, and entertainment, and the guy doesn't go along, she quickly gives him the cold shoulder. This person is a no-go. She won't stick with you through hard times. If your income can't match her spending, divorce won't be far off. As for the fourth point, women with overly dominant personalities are also not suitable. You know, the traditional Chinese idea that men handle affairs outside and women manage the home actually has some truth to it. For a family to be harmonious, the man needs to take the lead, right? Now, the fifth point is that women who clearly state they don't want to work and expect men to support them are also not suitable. Such women won't care about how much hardship the man endures outside. They are selfish and unfeeling. And finally, the last point is, well, women who are naturally cold and indifferent are not suitable either. They won't comfort you when you're feeling down. Instead, when you're upset, they'll only criticize you, provoke your anger, and leave you with no peace. Right. The new marriage law will be implemented on February 1st this year. I think this law will promote the rise of women and could break the tradition of men working outside and women staying at home. So, what's the main change? In short, it tells women not to do unpaid work in marriage anymore. The law won't care about how many times you've risked your life giving birth, how many children you've had, childbirth costs, lost youth, permanent injuries, housework, conflicts with in-laws, or how many times you've endured a dead marriage. None of these can be measured. Some might ask, then what does my contribution to the family count for? Sisters, from the fourth day of this Lunar New Year, your efforts will just be seen as diligence, nothing more. After marriage, each person's money is their own, and whoever pays for the house owns it. If your partner's parents buy a house, even if your name is added, you must return it if you split up. You can live there, but you don't have property rights. The new marriage law is a wake-up call for women. Don't be a housewife and don't think your family contributions will be recognized, because even the law won't acknowledge them. There are things more important than marriage and children, like making money and living for yourself. If you want to be a housewife, first find a lawyer and draft a domestic labor contract with your husband. Agree in advance on your monthly salary and living expenses. Living expenses are for daily needs, and your salary is your compensation. Since the law is intangible, we need legal tools for protection. No one should force family contributions in the name of love. From now on, marriage is equal and split the bill, two people partnering. On the surface, it seems fair, but if you think carefully, it's actually not. Because in gender, the structure and functions of men and women are inherently unequal, unless men could give birth, with men having one and women one, and men doing 50% of housework while women also do 50%. I think this would be truly fair. Look at the United States. If a couple divorces, the husband must pay alimony until the wife remarries. If you have children, you have to pay child support until the child turns 18. In the 1931 marriage regulations of the Soviet areas, it was like this too.
If after a divorce the woman hasn't remarried, the man must support her until she does. If there are children, he also has to cover 2/3 of the child's living expenses. Back then, there wasn't even a divorce cooling off period. If either party insisted on divorce once married, they could get divorced. As for our new marriage law, I think it goes hand in hand with the cooling off period, and its main feature is easy to marry, hard to divorce. When you go home for the new year and face pressure to marry, just read the new marriage law's rules to your parents. I'd like to see which parents are still clueless now. In the future, since you can't get money or anything else from marriage, what's the point of getting married at all? So, I'll take my time choosing. Ideally, I'll pick someone with young, helpful parents who's good-looking, skilled, does housework, and provides value. A tall, handsome guy. If you won't let me benefit financially but still expect me to have children for your family, then as a man, you need to improve your qualities. Otherwise, what girl would be foolish enough to come, have your kids, and work for free?